and welcome to the Art of Costume Podcast. I'm Elizabeth Joy Glass.
And I am Sir Spencer of the House Williams. Spencer Williams.
A little longer than I anticipated.
Hey, costume nerds. Welcome back to our second episode in the English romance month of February.
Yes.
You might be wondering what's different about us.
Yeah. It's very subtle.
It's very, very subtle. We got our hair did.
Yeah.
Just for this episode.
We had some fun.
In honor of the film we're talking about today, A Knight's Tale, which was so much fun.
So much fun.
Okay, let's just get into it. We'll do a summary first.
Yeah, let's do a summary and we'll get into it.
All right. Peasant-born William Thatcher begins a quest to change his stars, win the heart of an exceedingly fair maiden, and rock his medieval world. With the help of friends, he faces the ultimate test of medieval gallantry, tournament jousting, and tries to discover he has the mettle to become a legend. And that is A Knight's Tale, directed by Brian Helgeland.
Yes. If you haven't seen A Knight's Tale, go on Amazon and rent it.
It is a wild ride.
It is worth your time, especially for our costumes. Let's meet our costume designer, Caroline Harris. You will know her work from Last Train to Christmas, Black Mirror, Bandersnatch, Legend, The Awakening, Repo Men, Iron Jawed Angels, for which she received an Emmy nomination and Costume Designer Guild nomination, and An Ideal Husband, for which she received a BAFTA nomination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Caroline Harris really had a good time with this film that we're about to talk about. So we also want to shout out the hair designer that worked on this film.
We do.
I was trying to figure out who it was, and based on my research, I believe they go by the name of Pebbles, which actually makes a lot of sense with the very colorful hair extensions that we have going on.
The way the hair and the costumes work together in this film is so brilliant. And literally, like, I got these last night because I was like, we gotta have hair extensions.
Yes, and Elizabeth actually hooked me up with these purple and lavender ones. She said that they had to match our outfits, which they do in the film. Because I was telling her that, if you've listened to our past episodes, we've talked about how I've worn like a wig for our period episodes. So I was like, oh, bummer. Like, there wasn't really like big powder wigs for any of these English romance.
Not the time period.
Yeah. And Elizabeth was like, wouldn't it be crazy if we could get hair extensions overnighted here? And I was like, haha, real funny. This morning, Elizabeth walks in with like 20 bundles. I was like, what colors do you want to do?
And I presented it so seriously. I was like, you having fun?
Yeah. Ooh, a little dizzy. I haven't had breakfast yet.
Spencer, it's the most important meal of the day.
It is. So let's get into A Knight's Tale now that we've had that little bit of fun. So I guess you're all probably wondering, wow, there must be so many behind the costume facts for an episode such as A Knight's Tale.
No.
You would be wrong. Not a lot of information out there, but I was able to grab a hold of the production notes. It's about 3 paragraphs long. That's it. That is the written history of the costumes originally for A Knight's Tale. So I'll read them for everyone before we take our break. Production designer Tony Burrow and costume designer Caroline Harris conceived a color palette that subtly becomes richer as William's fortunes grow. Harris's period costumes, most particularly the gowns Shannyn Sossamon wears as a noble Jocelyn, would today inspire and envy both on Rodeo Drive and Melrose Avenue.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Sossamon's elaborate costumes include an off-white bell-shaped coat cut from handmade felt and hand-embroidered with Jocelyn's heraldry in gold thread, gold bullion, and hand-painted pearls, a handcrafted period hat with a straw crown and a brim edge in gold thread, and a century-old yellow embroidered Chinese silk dress, among others. The fashions embody the hip, modern edge of this timeless tale of ambition, unbreakable drive, and an invincible spirit of youth. In developing a look for the male band of medieval misfits, Brian and I were inspired a great deal by the look of the Rolling Stones on their 1972 tour, explains Harris. And that is the production notes for A Knight's Tale about the costumes. And it makes so much sense. I mean, the whole time I kept saying, like, this is just a musical biopic set in, you know, medieval era jousting, and like, or it's like a sports film also.
Yeah. For me, I was thinking of it as like a YA medieval romance.
Yeah. It's so much fun. And it just makes me want to go to our favorite restaurant, Medieval Times.
Oh, it was honestly a bit of a throwback to that day.
Elizabeth and I went. Oh, actually, it was like you're moving away from LA
was my
party.
Moving away party, yeah.
Elizabeth and I went. I did find a picture, but not sure if we'll include it or not because there's a lot of faces in that picture that probably don't want to be talked about. Well. With that, I think we should take a break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into the costumes of A Knight's Tale.
Hi, I'm Dan, who does all the magic behind the scenes. I wanted to say thank you. And if you want to support the show even farther, go to tpublic.com/user/theartofcostume, where you can buy a couple variations of our logo on t-shirts, mugs, and stickers. Also, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're an audio listener, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. Now, back to the show.
Spencer.
Yes.
Are you ready to talk about it?
Yeah.
We start with our trio of the boy.
Yeah, the boy. We the boys. I was a little caught off guard when we first saw William Thatcher with like the mess up hair and the dreads. I was like, this is not the film that I was promised.
No.
And I guess they're trying really hard to make him look a mess in this scene because it's real hard with Heath Ledger.
Like, they barely succeed.
I know. He's just glowing beautiful all the time. But one thing that caught my eye with William, Roland, and Watt, first of all, this cast is incredible. But I'm sure we'll bring that up 100 times. I love the aging and dying in this film because you could tell that these three dudes stank.
Yes.
You know, they haven't showered in a very long time.
No.
And you could see it on their clothes. It's just like, I mean, they're sweating through it. It's nasty.
Yeah. And I do like how you get the starts of like this 70s rock and roll right here. Because, I mean, it's a pseudo medieval period. This film, you don't know when it takes place. Yeah. You just know it's the medieval times.
And dare I say, I'm sure the people that created this film don't know when it takes place.
No, I don't think they do. You get two historical figures, and you got to figure it out from that. And it doesn't matter. But right here, you get those flowing silhouettes, like those like bell-shaped sleeves. And it doesn't you don't see it right away because they're peasants. They would have like these kind of like flowy garments anyway.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're so poor they can't eat. So they don't have like any tailoring whatsoever. And you see what they were talking about, how like the colors are like very subtle.
Yeah.
Like there's hardly any color. There's like the tiniest hint of like green and gold in their costumes. Yeah. Nothing else.
It's very almost like parchment colors. Like they're like a story that has not been written yet, which is, you know, A Knight's Tale. Wow. I just put that together just now. But there was another person who was really rocking the costumes, or should I say lack thereof.
Yeah.
Not only do we see Paul Bettany's ass once in this film, we saw it twice. Yeah, which is much more than we normally see in any other Paul Bettany film. But we have Paul Bettany who played Geoffrey. Geoffrey?
I think it's Geoffrey Chaucer.
There you go.
Because he's our first historical figure.
Oh, this is a historical figure?
Yes. He was an author.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, I need to read more books, but I believe there is some sort of copy dedicated to him at the Huntington Library then, so maybe we should go check that out. But anyways, Paul Bettany and his costumes. Actually, I think he might have wore my favorite costumes because, well, first he starts butt-ass naked.
Yeah.
Which kind of enjoyed.
Literally nothing. It's
But
so fun. It's funny because he's just like not paying attention to the fact that he's wearing nothing.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's like, what? It's medieval times. Like, this is it.
Like it happened. What can I do?
But then he puts on like that parchment kind of colored peasant look.
Yeah.
But he has this rock and roll edge to him where he puts on that like blackish coat.
Black and gold.
You know, kind of falling apart. But
Yes.
still, he just rocks in a way where he's giving rock star energy. And there's a little bit of an animal print in the fur on it, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. In the collar. Yeah.
Yeah. Or at least it's just a fur of some kind. And it just, to me, like, this is where you really start to get the rock and roll vibes of Paul Bettany. And he kills in this role.
He's the performer.
Yeah.
And he gets the crowd riled up.
He's the Mick Jagger of the group,
Yes.
kind of, until William really gets like his stride.
Yeah.
But and then we're kind of going out of order too, but also Paul Bettany does get
He gets an
jacket upgrade. And this is a good jacket too.
It is. And it kind of flips the colors of his original coat, where it's like that like gold, yellow, orangey color is the main part. And it's like kind of suede-y.
Yeah.
And then it has like black fur.
Ooh, the way he like pops the collar up too. It's yeah. That's a good one. Ooh, Paul Bettany. I didn't know his game, you know?
Yeah.
I've always think of Vision, which he's really great at in Avengers and whatnot. But when I saw him in this, I was like, I can't believe
incredible.
He should have been I don't want to say nominated for an Oscar, but like maybe.
Honestly, if he had been nominated for this, like, yeah.
I would not have like shook my head at it.
No.
You know?
No.
But he's not the only one that gets an upgrade in this film.
No.
Of course, William Thatcher becomes, you know, the Prince Charming of our dreams.
Sir Ulrich.
Sir Ulrich. This is when we really get to see like those Heath Ledger shots that everyone's familiar with, when he's in the armor, his hair is perfect. I love Heath Ledger. That's one of the ones where I think of like he would have been still doing some great work to this day. One of the best to ever do it. And he really did a great job in this film.
Yes. And I love it because it's so silly, but like he grounds it.
Yeah.
Because he's just like so serious even in like the funny bits, like when he rides his horse into the church.
Yeah.
Like he's still like so grounded and just kind of like, oh, yeah, okay, bye.
Yeah, he definitely does ground it. And I love the armor he started off with. You know, it's a little beaten up, but it looks great on him. He really can wear armor.
Yeah.
And even like his vest that he wears that kind of has like a velvety look to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really loved, so we couldn't find a lot of behind the costume facts, but every like piece of like behind the scenes or information was just talking about how everyone loved working with Heath Ledger and how he just like really, that star really shone through on the set. And this is one of his first feature films, at least in the States.
Yeah.
And everyone just talks about how he was the real deal. So,
and it shows.
Yeah. Okay.
Another newcomer in this movie.
We have to talk about Jocelyn. Jocelyn. She's where this film really came alive in terms of the wackiness of the costumes at first. So the first time we see her, she's wearing this kind of like almost like nun like look.
It's so cool.
Yeah, when she's in the church. And to me, it kind of reminded me of Aiko's costumes for the fall. To me, I was kind of like, oh, is she a nun a little bit? Like he's falling in love with the hot nun. I get it.
Yeah.
So cute.
Especially because she has that cap on.
Yeah. Like to me, I was like, oh, this is like a medieval nun or something. Then we see her in her next costumes and it just jumps tenfold.
And she is like so 70s, so Audrey Hepburn. Like, I love the silhouettes because it's like, it has that like Renaissance medieval like slim cut through the waist and then like flowing train and then like the big sleeves, but like it's also so 70s.
Yeah.
Like you could see this at a 70s disco and be like, okay.
Yeah, like a 70s disco, or if you were to like go through like a Vogue from the 70s, you would see
especially
Jocelyn.
that yellow number.
That one is crazy.
So wild.
I could not believe my eyes, honestly. I was like, what is going on in this film?
Yes.
It's like, it's not a
And like I love this movie so much. I love her costumes. Like, she is the reason I was like, Spencer, we got to do this.
We got to do the hair extensions too.
Because
she was going crazy with the hair extensions.
So crazy. And I was like, this is just because this came out in 2001.
Right.
And I was like, this is so like start of like that 2000s bright colors, extensions, like crazy hair pieces. Yeah. But then also we have like that beautiful black number.
Oh, I love that
with, like,
one.
The sheer top underneath it, giving you like all the side boob in the world.
I love that costume.
It was so elegant.
Yeah.
Like, and then like paired with the hat, like perfect.
So the whole time I was like, who does this character remind me of? Because she's
and then you just blurted it out in the middle of the film.
She's just giving like such like out of pocket looks for this time. And then she wears this one costume where it's kind of like
beautiful ombre.
It's like an ombre. It's like kind of yellow, then goes into pink and then blue. And then it just clicked in my head. I was like, Jocelyn is giving Padmé Amidala from a Clone Wars. And then I was like, oh, she's literally wearing this in a Clone Wars when she gets married to Anakin. Like, that's
one of her Naboo looks.
That is Jocelyn's mood board. And I know Clone Wars probably came out 2002.
2002. Around, let's see.
I want to say after A Knight's Tale, but Phantom Menace probably came out before A Knight's Tale.
Phantom Menace definitely came out before. I think that was like 99.
I want to say 99.
2002, a year after. So maybe it was the other way around.
So Phantom Menace came out. Caroline saw Phantom Menace and was like, that's cool. Because Padmé Amidala had some, pretty interesting looks.
Yeah.
Or when they were doing a Clone Wars, they watched A Knight's Tale and they're like, we gotta get Jocelyn in Clone Wars. I don't know. Either way.
They were like, we're really loving this look. Let's make that Star Wars.
It's so good. I'm in love with it. But the looks don't stop there. We have to talk about the Banquet.
The Banquet.
Oh, so good. Yeah, I love that it's like made with like this really exquisite like green
like
fabric
silk.
with literally like the color of the hair extensions kind of embroidered into it.
Yeah.
It's really pretty. And Jocelyn, of course, is looking incredible.
Yes.
She reminds me of that character that plays the guitarist in Freaky Friday. That's part of Lindsay Lohan's band.
Absolutely.
It's very punk rock for no reason, and I love it.
Yes.
I did read a little bit about this scene because there was another oral history, I believe, on vulture.com. And I thought it was really interesting. I wanted to share with you.
Yeah.
So the scene had initially been written and rehearsed using Casey and the Sunshine Band's classic Get Down Tonight. The soundtrack for this film is impeccable.
Yes.
I had a good time with that. However, Heath Ledger preferred David Bowie's song Golden Years. And everyone knew Heath Ledger, like, everyone was obsessed with him then as we are now, because they're like, he's perfect, he's beautiful, he's funny, he's nice, like he's the total package. And the writer said when Heath wanted to sell you on something, you could tell in a second. He would assume this kind of boyishness to him. He'd become 9 years old, like out of a Dickens story. And ultimately, the team found Heath Ledger's suggestion hard to ignore. And the director remembered Heath got this big grin on his face. He goes, "It's the same tempo. It's going to work," Heath Ledger said. "Don't come to rehearsal today. Let us get it right and then come down. And we'll do both of them. And then you could decide." So they had this dance number and they basically did it to Casey and the Sunshine Band. But he was like, "Can we also try David Bowie?" And it worked. And apparently the choreographer Stuart Hopps supported Ledger's suggestion to change the song. At the time, I thought the David Bowie choice was a good one he wrote. And although the dance patterns remained much the same, the choice of music meant I could give the dance routine a more modern feel, and the actors got to let go more and swing more, which I thought
like
was
that.
perfect.
I love that because it does. I love it. The whole scene goes from this very because the dances back then were very structured, choreographed number to just like a full on modern dance party, literally a disco.
Oh my gosh, that David Bowie song like kills in this moment too. It's so fun. And I feel like though I love Casey and his Sunshine Band, that would have gave it like a little bit more of a disco sound, and that's not what this film was. So
no,
Heath Ledger he knew what it was. Yeah,
he knew what he was doing.
That's one of my favorite dance ballroom scenes that we've talked about on this podcast.
And everyone looks so cool.
Yeah. That's what I would love to do.
Our bad guy.
Oh man, the Count. He's a pretty evil
Count
guy.
Adhemar.
And typically I like the bad character, the villain, you know.
Awful in this.
He's not a nice guy. He's so all I kept hearing is Mariah Carey's "Why Are You So Obsessed with Me" playing in my head the whole time. Because he just would not let William go.
He wouldn't. He literally wouldn't.
Like, you beat him in the jousting tournament, so I don't know. I just feel like he should have enough to move on with his life.
He was just annoying because he could see Jocelyn liked him.
Yeah, well, he took that personally.
He did.
I will say though, his armor was kicking.
So cool.
It was dope.
It was so
all
cool.
like just black enough. You could tell he kind of is evil, but even when he's not wearing his armor, he still had like
all
this
black.
All black, just scolding look where
so
he's
much
just
leather,
so much judgment.
So much judgment. So this man, I think it's just the embodiment of judgment.
Yeah, smoldering just evilness that it was even a bit much for me because I wanted to like him a lot because he does it for me in terms of the armor.
I like that actor too. I feel bad that he plays a lot of bad guys.
Yeah.
I have to give a shout out though to his herald in the black and the yellow because his heraldry look is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I love by the end how he's trying to like imitate Chaucer, and then even at the end, spoiler, when Heath Ledger like wins the final match, he's there like clapping and being like, you know what? Yeah. You did it, dude. You did it.
His boss is kind of a dick.
Yeah, he knows it now.
He just, why are you so obsessed with beating this perfect man? It was so much fun. I love what Sandy Powell said in our last episode about Shakespeare in Love, that the villain always is like the best dressed, because that is true in this film.
True.
So true. That's why we like a villain. Another character I want to bring up was, of course, Prince Edward. He had such great style. I liked his jacket. It's a very interesting type of embroidery. But, you know, I love the big collar.
Yeah.
He's a prince, too, so he's going to show off the chest, the hairy chest.
Absolutely. And
what you do as a prince.
I love the embroidery on it because I'm pretty sure that's the English coat of arms or his personal coat of arms. Because he at least has like the lions in that lower corner.
Yeah.
I know Prince Edward is a historical figure several times over in several different people.
Yeah.
So he's one of them. And I'm like, I have no idea how closely related this Prince Edward is to the historical one, but they made him so likable.
Yeah, he's so likable. And I love how it becomes a full circle moment with Prince Edward saving William toward the end. I was wondering where that was going. So, of course, he shows up and he's like, let him free.
And I also love how he also does like a cloak reveal.
I know. It's always like the most like over the top person who's like in disguise with a blanket over their head. And we're like, oh,
you can't see it.
Let me guess you're the prince.
I also like his armor a lot because it's not as nice as like the Count's, but it still has like, you can tell they put work into it. It has like beautiful like metal embroidery around it.
He's trying to be a peasant, but he's like, look, I'm not gonna get ugly stuff though.
He's like, I just gotta look good.
Let my man joust. I'm so tired of all these medieval rules. I mean, we don't even want to get into the fact that like women can't even be blacksmiths, but like we could talk about this for a while, but at least let our nice prince joust.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Like, and I love when William's like, he put himself in danger. Like, I'm just going to go for it.
I'm not going to lose because this man stepped up. So I feel that. Okay. There's a character I want to bring up. I was looking at lots of pictures and I thought this when we were watching it. And then it came up twice when I was trying to do research. Is this guy in the red outfit not Benedict Cumberbatch? Like an uncredited role? Because I looked it up and of course it's not on his IMDb but it came up twice on the internet when I was looking it up.
It does look like him. And I do, because he pops up throughout it, because he's like the herald of the tournament.
Yeah. He comes out, and so his role should be credited then if he talks.
He talks a couple different times, right?
So it's likely not Benedict Cumberbatch, but
No.
sound off in the comments
if you know who this is.
If you know who this is, if you think it is Mr. Cumberbatch, then also please make me feel seen. But I thought it was crazy, and then it came up multiple times on the internet. So I just thought I would get your thoughts. I would if it's not him, I would see it too.
Yeah, because I didn't think that when I was watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And like you get some good like FaceTime of him.
Yeah.
So I want to like lean on the no, it's not him side.
I want to lean on the no side, but this is also comes out. He started like acting like 2002, 2003. So at this point in time, he would be looking for small minor roles. So I'm just saying the timeline works out.
It would be the time period for him to be doing stuff like this.
For random uncredited roles. So just saying, Benedict Cumberbatch, I know you watch this podcast pretty often. And you probably ever since we did we do Doctor Strange? I think we did do a Doctor Strange in Multiverse of Man episode.
We might have.
Lifetimes ago. So he's probably been listening ever since then. Let us know if that is in fact you in A Knight's Tale.
Let us know. Let us know. And then we have the final tournament. And I think we do need to take this moment to talk about William's updated armor.
Ooh, yeah.
With the Nike swooshes.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. That was so random.
I was like, look at that product placement.
It was so random.
Because I'm like, I could totally see. I don't know how big their budget was. I mean, it's a lot of like up and coming actors, but not like complete unknowns.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, they at least had to have like a little money for the cast. These sets are gorgeous.
Yeah.
So they had to have some money. So I'm like, I could see this being a low budget film where they just use their money very well.
Yeah.
But also I could see this needing
a little boost.
Needing a little boost. And I like when those Nike swooshes showed up, I was just like, oh yeah.
So
that's where they got it.
We love a costume conspiracy. Your theory is that they etched in those Nike Just Do It swooshes into the armor just for that little boost of publicity money.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
I think this calls for investigation.
I think so as well.
We're on it.
Yeah.
We're two costume investigators.
We'll let you know.
We're going to come back with some findings. That would make sense.
Yeah.
You know?
I think
it's interesting that they did two, maybe to make it look a little bit more subtle. They're like, well, it can't be the Nike swoosh shifters one above the other.
1, 2.
They did two.
Because like they also could have filmed it and like not known if they had the money or not yet.
Yeah.
And their legal department was like, do two, you'll be fine.
I love a product placement moment. It's really funny if that is true. I actually love William's armor. I thought it was interesting that his final armor was like less embellished almost, but then it makes sense too because he just became a knight.
Yeah.
So like he's still earning like his colors and whatnot as a knight. So maybe that's why it's more plain, but just looks so sophisticated in that plain minimalist type look.
It looks so good. Everyone around him looks so good because at this point they've fully brought the color in.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone has new clothes.
Yeah.
Everyone's in their green, gold, browns, like very vibrant.
His crew looks great. Especially the before and after.
Yes.
Like they've come a long way.
And they're fully behind him. Mm-hmm. Jocelyn never for a second doubts her man, which Spencer was very relieved about.
Oh gosh, I was worried. I was like, we're gonna do another hour of this film with Jocelyn like pissed off because William's poor, you know.
Yeah.
But no, she showed up with his blind dad and I was like, no, I'm gonna stand by my man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, respect Jocelyn.
She never for a second. I think she knew deep down he wasn't who he said he was.
Yeah. Plus, look, she put him through a lot. There was that whole jousting competition where she made him get taken off the horse many, many times, which I thought was weird.
That makes sense. But yeah, she's great, especially in this last moment in her yellow with her little twirly hair extensions.
Yeah.
I love how they just go like into the night.
Yeah, I know.
to a starry night and just end the film there.
It felt like a music video ending, which essentially a big portion of this film feels like a music video. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, that was good. And that, I believe, brings us to the end of A Knight's Tale.
It does.
That's a lot of great costumes.
It's a ton of great costumes.
Yeah, it's so funny going from like Shakespeare in Love, which is like, you know, studying paintings and portraits and historical text and having things
period
translated.
Accurate, except for where it services the story.
Right. And then we have A Knight's Tale. It's like, let's do rock and roll medieval times and just have a good time.
Yeah.
And for that, I respect it so much more because I love a costume that, you know, can have fun and not take itself too seriously. You know, like people love to bash on films like or shows like Bridgerton where they're saying like, oh, it's not period accurate, so on and so forth. It's like
that's not the point.
They're having fun with it.
Yeah.
Like they're bringing a modern touch to it. And this film took that sentiment to a different level.
It did.
It was like, we're having lots of fun.
I also like it because we've talked a lot about probably from like the mid 2000s onward, there's a lot of these historical films that incorporate more modern music and like a look to them, because we talked about this a lot with Marie Antoinette.
Love that one.
And I see this film 2001 and I'm like, I bet a lot of people saw this movie and were like, I'm gonna keep that in the back of my mind.
Yeah, this if you like, they knew how to have fun, and that was something that I feel like this really probably spawned a lot of films like this where they were able to just kind of take a deep breath and just have a good time and you know, not get so deep into trying to make these dramatic films. It's also 2001, so like we're going through a lot at the time, so this would have been like a good answer to like have a good time. All right, Elizabeth, let's get to the important business at hand.
Yes.
I'm curious to know what your Stitch rating is, but I think I'm going to go first because I'm starting to notice that your Stitch ratings always influence mine. Okay. So I'm going to go out there with mine.
All right.
I'm going to give this one a solid 3.
Okay.
And especially I feel good about that because I gave Shakespeare in Love a 3.5.
Okay.
So I would put this film at a 3.
Okay. You liked it that much?
Yeah, it was fun. It was solid, you know.
Yeah.
I think it definitely was maybe 45 minutes too long.
Yeah.
Especially because like there was no point in a tournament where we ever felt like stressed about it because William was so good. Yeah. Like he was perfect from beginning to end, except when Jocelyn was like, I need you to lose today. And he was like, I guess. Yeah. But I never felt like the stakes were high in this film. I would have loved like the push and pull of like maybe he lost one or two or he got cut up or bloodied every once in a while. He was just, you know, William being flawless from beginning to end. So I was like, all right. By the end of it, like, okay, I can't see this man win anymore. So I was stoked when he finally got, you know, that good stake to the chest toward the end because I was like, finally, like some flaws are appearing. So for that, you know, I felt like maybe it was a little too long. But I had so much fun watching this. The fun musical soundtrack. I was a little worried at the "We Will Rock You" moment at the beginning. I was like, this is going to be a long movie. I don't enjoy that song.
You don't?
No. I think that is by far the Queen's not good song of all their songs.
That's fair. That's fair.
So I was like, if it's going to be a lot of this goofiness in this film, it's going to be a long film. But no, it was a lot of fun. The soundtrack killed. The costumes were so much fun. The hair was fun. I don't think I've really paid attention to the hair so much in a film as this one.
Was fun.
Makeup was fun. Yeah, it was a good time. I liked it. A solid 3.
I honestly, Spencer, I'm right there with you. I'm at a solid 3.
Okay.
It could have been shorter. Yeah. But this is 2001. People are still going to the movie theaters a lot. Yeah. You can get away with doing a silly 2-hour movie. I think it was a little over 2 hours, right?
It was, yeah. I looked it up.
But like, it's charming. Yeah. And like, honestly, like, it doesn't spend too much time on unnecessary things. Like, as a very straight William is a commoner pretending to be a knight, and he falls in love with this noble woman. Let's go.
Yeah. You know, the part that made me laugh was because there really wasn't a lot of like drama happening, which I was kind of getting at, like, you know, he's pretty flawless all the way through. So then they're like, well, do you know what? Let's bring his dad back, but make him blind. And then I actually did tear up a little bit when he hugged his dad.
You did.
I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that because we've been writing like, you know, scratch free throughout this whole thing.
Yeah.
So that's what they need more. They need a little bit more of the storytelling aspect to get to know William and whatnot. So solid 3. I think we feel good about this.
Same.
But Elizabeth, what was your one costume to rule them all? Let's hit the track, Daniel.
The one costume to rule them all.
Spencer, my one costume to rule them all is a bit of like a twofer.
Oh, I know where this is going.
It is William and Jocelyn's look from the Banquet.
Yeah.
I love, like, you know me, I love so much when the putting together the making of a costume is an element of the story. So I love seeing that get put together. And then I also love Jocelyn's handmaiden coming over and being like, what is your lord's tunic? The color of his tunic going to be so she can match him.
This one was like greenish with like some trim.
Just describing the tent behind her.
Yeah, that was good.
And then they're together. They look so flawless. Like this is their look right here. This is like the 70s rock and roll.
Yeah.
Like they were going for.
I was a little taken aback by the pants.
The pants look so good.
They look good. I just wasn't expecting that when they were saying tunic, you know, and then he came out and I was like, oh yeah, like this is still pretty rock and roll with the pants.
Especially, and like I love that like it's actually the color of his pants that match her dress.
Yeah, that's true. Good for Jocelyn for pulling that together too. With you know, it could have went really wrong.
Such minimal information.
Oh man, well,
Spencer, what's your one costume to rule them all?
The one I ended up picking was Paul Bettany's first look when he throws on the black coat. And like we've seen this man go through so much in the first 20 minutes of this film. He's naked. He has like huge gambling debts. So you're just like, this guy's a hot mess. And then he throws on this black jacket and does his first like introduction of William, makes it all up on the fly. And I was just really caught by his charisma. And honestly, a big part of that is his costume. Yeah. So that is going to be my one costume to rule them all. I feel a little shaky on it, though.
I like it.
Yeah. The fur, and then he inverts the colors.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stick with that one. I could probably be convinced to pick one of Jocelyn's looks.
Yeah. I like it because like that's when I think of Paul Bettany in this movie, that's like definitely the look.
Yeah.
I think of for him. And definitely like that image of him with his arms out, like giving his introduction. I feel like that's definitely like one of the iconic images from this film. So I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
I feel good about it.
Yeah.
This is going to be one of those ones where I revisit like episodes from now and be like, you know what? Actually, it was Jocelyn's. I don't know. Let's just move on before I change my mind. That was lots of fun. Elizabeth.
Yeah.
This was such a fun month of episodes that we did.
I know. And everybody, if you love A Knight's Tale as much as we did and you want to tell us your one costume to rule them all, send us an email at theartofcostume@gmail.com.
And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube so you can see our beautiful hair extensions live on your TV screen. Of course, we're on Instagram and TikTok at The Art of Costume or at The Art of Costume Pod. As always, you could follow us on Discord and hit up our merch store as well. Because believe it or not, it's supposed to start getting warm soon.
Yeah.
Which not
need some
thrilled
t-shirts.
About. But yeah, time to start thinking about your t-shirt game.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, can I tell you what we just did English Romance Month. So I'm very stoked that I kind of got to inspire our next month.
You did, Spencer. Tell everybody what we're about to embark on.
So for the past months, I've been just
like a solid year, Spencer, at this point.
Yeah, true. But like, I've been watching so many mafia movies. Scarface. I am almost done with The Sopranos, which I am deeply obsessed with. I really fallen in love with this like mobster genre. It's so much fun. Goodfellas. So for Mafia March or Mobster March, pick one. We are going to be watching for our first episode, The Godfather. Which is so good. Have you seen The Godfather?
I have not.
Okay.
This will actually be my first time watching it.
It's so fun. I don't know if it's my favorite of the mobster movies, but I feel like it's like a good introduction to this genre. I mean, because everyone loves The Godfather. Like, I've never met someone who's seen it and hasn't liked it.
Yeah.
So
I've seen like pieces of it, like little scenes here and there, and I know I'm gonna like it.
Yeah.
I just have to watch it.
It'll be lots of fun. He has a cat, which I think you'll appreciate.
I love a cat.
You know. So get ready. Yeah, get your cat and your tuxedo and your cigars and get ready for a good time with our Mobster March. In the meantime, leave us a 5-star text review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It really does help. And subscribe and like on YouTube as well.
Yes.
And leave us comments. We love to read those.
We do.
Comment on how great our hair looks this episode.
Everybody, have a fantastic week.